The caves were a source of continual delight to both the girl and the sailor, who loved to explore their awesome depths. "I believe, Cap'n," remarked Trot at last, "that it's time for us to start." The old man cast a shrewd glance at the sky, the sea, and the motionless boat. Then he shook his head. "Maybe it's time, Trot," he answered, "but I don't just like the looks of things this afternoon." "What's wrong?" she asked wonderingly. "Can't say as to that. Things is too quiet to suit me, that's all. No breeze, not a ripple atop the water, nary a gull a-flyin' anywhere, and the end o' the hottest day of the year. I ain't no weather prophet, Trot, but any sailor would know the signs is ominous." "There's nothing wrong that I can see," said Trot. "If there was a cloud in the sky, even as big as my thumb, we might worry about it. But look, Cap'n, the sky is as clear as can be." He looked again and nodded. "Perhaps we can make the cave all right," he agreed, not wishing to disappoint her. "It's only a little way out, and we'll be on the watch. So come along, Trot." Together they descended the winding path to the beach. It was no trouble for the girl to keep her footing on the steep way, but Cap'n Bill, because of his wooden leg, had to hold on to rocks and roots now and then to save himself from tumbling. On a level path he was as spry as anyone, but to climb up a hill or down required some care. They reached the boat safely, and while Trot was untying the rope, Cap'n Bill reached into a crevice of the rock and drew out several tallow candles and a box of wax matches, which he thrust into the capacious pockets of his sou'wester. The sou'wester was a short coat of oilskin, which the old sailor wore on all occasions, when he wore a coat at all, and the pockets always contained a variety of objects, useful and ornamental, which made even Trot wonder where they all came from and why Cap'n Bill should treasure them. The jackknives, a big and a little one, the bits of cord, the fish hooks, the nails, these were handy to have on certain occasions. But bits of shell and tin boxes with unknown contents, buttons, pincers, bottles of curious stones, and the like, seemed quite unnecessary to carry around. That was Cap'n Bill's business, however, and now that he added the candles and the matches to his collection, Trot made no comment, for she knew that these were to light their way through the caves. The sailor always rowed the boat, for he handled the oars with strength and skill. Trot sat in the stern and steered. The place where they embarked was a little bight or circular bay, and the boat cut across a much larger bay toward a distant headland where the caves were located, right at the water's edge. They were nearly a mile from shore and about halfway across the bay when Trot suddenly sat up straight and exclaimed, "What's that, Cap'n?" He stopped rowing and turned half around to look. "That, Trot," he slowly replied, "looks to me mightily like a whirlpool." "What makes it, Cap'n?" "A whirl in the air makes the whirl in the water. I was afraid as we'd meet with trouble, Trot. Things didn't look right. The air was too still." "It's coming closer," said the girl. The old man grabbed the oars and began rowing with all his strength. "'Tain't coming closer to us, Trot," he gasped. "It's we that are coming closer to the whirlpool. The thing is drawing us to it like a magnet." Trot's sun-bronzed face was a little paler as she grasped the tiller firmly and tried to steer the boat away, but she said not a word to indicate fear. The swirl of the water as they came nearer made a roaring sound that was fearful to listen to. So fierce and powerful was the whirlpool that it drew the surface of the sea into the form of a great basin, slanting downward toward the center, where a big hole had been made in the ocean, a hole with walls of water that were kept in place by the rapid whirling of the air. The boat in which Trot and Cap'n Bill were riding was just on the outer edge of this saucer-like slant, and the old